This sedition was like a coup, meaning some people in the world interpreted the sedition that occurred as a coup, saying a coup had started in Iran. The coup was suppressed, but it was a coup. What does it mean to be a coup? It means the goal was to destroy sensitive and effective centers in running the country.
Washington now says Iran is barely a week away from bomb-grade uranium, just as fresh street protests erupt across the country. As Iran digs in and refuses to back down, Trump pointedly asks why Tehran hasn't surrendered yet. The death of a student at Tehran University has become a spark, lighting up campuses and streets in a new nationwide uprising. While the regime vows it will never surrender, campuses are in flames and protesters openly chant for Khamenei's downfall. With more blood on the streets, many are now asking if Khamenei's rule is just one step away from collapse. Iran's student revolution is back on the streets, even as reports claim Khamenei is quietly preparing for potential assassination scenarios. A student at Iran University died on February 22 after suffering a sudden medical emergency while attending class. The semi-official ISNA news agency reported the incident, quoting a statement from the university's public relations office. University officials said the student was rushed to a nearby hospital, but doctors were unable to revive them. In its statement, the university emphasized that the death was not connected to student gatherings that had taken place earlier in the day. The clarification came at a time of heightened political tension on campuses across Iran. Students had been holding rallies to mark the 40th day memorials for protesters killed in unrest across the country. In recent weeks, universities in Tehran have increasingly emerged as key centers of anti-government demonstrations. At Amir Kabir University, students reportedly stood their ground and resisted attempts to disrupt their protest rally. Students at the University of Art meanwhile staged fresh demonstrations, openly protesting against the Islamic Republic. Videos from Kajeh Nazir University also showed student gatherings where participants voiced open dissent against the authorities. Some demonstrators were seen expressing support for exiled opposition figure Reza Pahlavi, invoking his name and slogans during the rallies. Security forces kept a visible and tense presence outside several major campuses in Tehran as the protests continued. Historically, Iran's universities have often been at the heart of political upheaval and protest movements in the country. News of the student's death spread rapidly on social media, fueling anger, speculation, and grief nationwide. Officials once again insisted there was no link between the student's death and the ongoing wave of campus protests. All of this is unfolding as Iran grapples with sustained domestic unrest and growing scrutiny from the international community. Donald Trump has meanwhile said he is curious why Iran has still not surrendered, even as pressure on Tehran continues to mount. "I wouldn't use the word frustrated," his advisor Witkoff remarked in a Fox News interview, while acknowledging rising tensions. As US threats intensify, one report suggests that Ayatollah Khamenei may have already handed over effective wartime control. Back in January 2026, with protests raging at home and the threat of US strikes looming, Khamenei is said to have turned to Ali Larijani. The 67-year-old security strongman has effectively been running Iran since then, according to the New York Times. President Pezeshkian was reportedly pushed to the sidelines as real power shifted into the hands of the security establishment. One account even claims that the president himself has to seek Larijani's approval before making key contacts. Larijani is accused of crushing protests with lethal force, and now oversees both street control and the policing of dissent. Khamenei's close aide is also believed to be managing sensitive backchannels with Moscow, Qatar, and Oman, as well as nuclear discussions with Washington. On top of that, Larijani is said to be drawing up plans for how Iran would be governed and defended in the event of a full-scale war with the United States.